Hey guys, it's Cactus Smasher here with a movie to review. This is put out by MVD and it's from 1994. It's called The Regenerated Man, and it's directed by Ted A. Bohus, who I believe was the screenwriter for The Deadly Spawn, among other things, and he's directed a couple things after this. But basically, the plot of this movie is about a scientist that is working on some kind of experimental serum to help, regenerate human tissue, and basically uh, one night, these crazy kind of thief guys who think that there's gold in there because they work with minerals. They basically break in and they threaten him, and instead of killing him, they take all of the experimental serums he was working on. They pour him into a big beaker and they make him drink it. And basically, what happens is he becomes this kind of huge, gross-looking monster thing. Usually at night. I don't know why, but he becomes this big, gross-looking monster thing. He actually has this really interesting power of shooting bones out of his fingers and arms, and these weird little tendril things out of his mouth and neck and stuff. And basically, he sort of goes on he becomes a de facto superhero, I guess, like killing thugs, but he also kills bums and stuff like that. And basically, it's about his wife, who is also a scientist that works with him. That's her on the cover. Kind of trying to help him work through this and all that crap. It's weird. It's filmed in this kind of this weird almost television style, or like an old 50s movie, where it's all static shots, static medium shots. The camera doesn't move much. People kind of standing on either end of the frame talking to each other. I don't think that it was meant to be taken seriously. I think it's actually meant to feel kind of like old 50s monster movie kind of thing, especially with the actors really bring that out. The actors are completely ridiculous, especially the main guy. He's this weird kind of pudgy dude with a Jew fro. He looks a little bit like Jonah Hill. And he's so over the top. He spends all of his time going, "My mind is fine," and stuff like that, and he's just completely hilarious. And there's all of these almost caricatures of street thugs. There's this Italian mobster guy who I swear he looks and sounds exactly like Joe Pesci. It's so stereotypical. And there's this part where they threaten this guy who's not paying them money. He's one of them's "Sing me a song, and if I like it, I won't blow your head off and stuff like that. And so the guy starts singing "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," and it's just ridiculous. But the main thing about the movie, the main kind of draw, is the special effects. Actually, they really surprised me. They don't really tell you much, you can't get much out of it just from the front. It looks pretty cheap, and it is cheap. But the special effects, they're all these really interesting kind of practical effects. And like I said, it reminds me of a little bit of Darkman, actually, because this scientist's been wronged in some way, and he kind of develops superpowers. And he actually has these pretty cool powers where, like I said, he can shoot bones out of his hands and stuff like that. There's a couple really cool scenes where he sticks his hand out like this, and all these bones come sort of poking out and sticking out, and it's real gross. And then they fire off little bullets, and they pin people to walls and stuff like that. And there's this other part earlier on in the movie where his wrist opens up like this, and the skin sort of comes apart, and a little bone comes out and shoots a guy in the head, and stuff like that is really cool. And there's also a little bit of stop motion as well, when the main character is falling asleep to an old science fiction movie on TV. He actually dreams about this really long, drawn-out, kind of surreal alien battle, and it's all in stop motion. There's this stop motion alien, and it picks up this laser gun, and it starts shooting at ships and stuff, and it's really cool. It's something out of an old Harryhausen movie, or it reminds me of Laser Blast or something like that. It's actually pretty neat. That's really the main draw to the movie, because honestly, the rest of the movie, it's kind of boring. There's a lot of kind of dead space in between where the monster's not really attacking anybody or doing anything interesting. And at the end, the monster kind of he super mutates into this really extra powerful life form thing, and it's done with CGI, and this came out in 1994, and obviously it's really low budget, and it's some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life. Like it's so bad that it's fun. It's not as bad as something like Fungicide. I mean, any CGI looks good after seeing the CGI in Fungicide, but it's still pretty bad, and it's pretty funny. Um, but it's kind of a fun movie. The main character's best friend is played by this guy who looks a lot like Jon Stewart, and his wife is like so obviously like this, like she looks like she would never be a scientist. She's got her boobs like this, and all this stuff. But I don't think the movie was meant to be taken seriously because, like I said, it's filmed in that kind of static-y, like 50s sci-fi movie style, and there's all these like garish lights and everything. Like like they're standing in a lab, a science lab, and there's like purple lights and pink lights and all this crazy shit. So I don't think it was meant to be taken seriously by any means. Um, it wasn't bad, it was kind of fun. Really, I really enjoyed the special effects, and I think the guy who worked on them has done other stuff, like he worked on Jurassic Park and some other things. Um, so, it was a decent little bit of, cheesy fun. I don't know if I would, I paid $10 for this. I don't know if I would go the whole 10, but if you like, kind of cheesy sci-fi things, especially if you really like special effects, this movie's actually pretty decent in that regard. Um, so yeah, I'd pick it up if you can find it cheap. So yeah, that's my review of The Regenerated Man, directed by Ted A. Bohus. If you guys like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.